Let me highlight a very disturbing story. You know, the killers of Ahmaud Arbery, remember them? Well, they were convicted in a court of law, state court. But there's also a federal hate crimes investigation, indictment, and we were hoping an actual full prosecution. The family was hoping for the same thing. But according to the family of Ahmaud Arbery, the murdered young black male who was jogging, the federal government decided to go behind their backs and strike a plea deal with these murderers rather than fully prosecuting them for their hate crime. The McMichaels were due to stand trial on federal hate crimes next month, but prosecutors announced a plea deal late Sunday without revealing what the terms of the plea deal were. Ahmaud Arbery's family attorney, S. Lee Merritt, took to Instagram and made it very clear that the family does not support what the federal government has done. Here's a video.
This is an example of the Department of Justice literally snatching defeat from the jaws of victory. Wanda Cooper Jones is vacillating between upset, betrayed, from feelings of deep grieving to feelings of vehement anger. She is anxiously hoping to get before the court, which is her legal right, to express her dissent. To the Department of Justice, Ahmaud Arbery's family has communicated their extreme disappointment and sense of betrayal. To the judge, the family is throwing themselves at the mercy of the court, asking that they do what the DOJ has refused to do, which is listen to the family and respect their wishes.
This is a damn shame. When this first happened, I reported on my radio show when it was still a very local story. We went down to Brunswick, Georgia. We took a caravan. I have interviewed Ahmaud Arbery's mother, his father. I've interviewed the multiple attorneys involved in the case, including Benjamin Crump, okay? They wanted full justice from day one. They vowed to go to every proceeding. They vowed to speak to anyone who was willing to listen, and they have kept their word. The government was supposed to keep theirs. Let me give you some background. Gregory and Travis McMichael, the father and son convicted of murder in the Ahmaud Arbery killing, are entering a plea on federal hate crime charges in order to serve their time in a safer, less crowded prison. Well, isn't that nice of the federal government? Merritt called federal prison a country club compared to state prison, saying the facilities are less populated, have better funding, and are generally more accommodating than state holding facilities, according to tweets from his account. Merritt, the attorney, spoke out after documents were filed Sunday in federal court ahead of the men's scheduled February 7th trial, showing the defendants had reached the deal with prosecutors. Details of the agreement have not been specified. In a statement, Wanda Cooper Jones, that's Ahmaud Arbery's mother, said, and I quote, "The US Department of Justice has gone behind my back to offer the men who murdered my son a deal to make their time in prison easier for them to serve. I have made it clear at every possible moment that I do not agree to offer these men a plea deal of any kind. I have been completely betrayed by the DOJ lawyers." Now I want to contrast something here because it didn't make the news it should have made. The attorneys for the McMichaels, they tried to strike a plea deal with the state prosecution. And that DA said, hell to the no. We're prosecuting their ass 100%, no deal. I don't care what you agree to. They did what the family wanted. Now what happened to, let's make an example out of these criminals. What happened to that spirit, right? What happened to, we need to show the integrity of the justice system as it relates to hate crimes? What happened to that? They said all these things on the record. Now they go behind the backs of the family in order to strike a plea deal and do not release the details. Cooper Jones intends to oppose the plea deal during a hearing today. The Federal Crime Victims Act guarantees the mother the right to be reasonably heard at any public proceeding involving the plea offer, Merritt said, and she intends to exercise that right in that proceeding today. The plea agreement has been sent to the US District for the Southern District of Georgia for consideration, the court filing said. An attorney for Gregory McMichael declined to comment on the agreement Monday. Remember the other guy, the guy that was recording it? William Roddy Bryan. And remember, he's recording because they were going to look at it for kicks. That's why he's recording, okay? William Roddy Bryan was not mentioned in Sunday's court filings. Bryan, who shot the video of Arbery's killing, was sentenced to life with the possibility of parole. Anna, once again, this was clear. This was literally a slam dunk for the federal government. And they go behind the back of the mother to strike a deal with killers of her son.
You know, oftentimes plea deals are offered when the prosecutor is going to have a difficult time proving the charges brought forth.
That's right.
And that clearly is not the case here. And what I find fascinating about all of this is just the secretive nature under which this plea deal was made. And more importantly, how this was done under Biden's Justice Department. This isn't Trump's Justice Department. Now, some might argue, hey, you can't lay the blame on Biden, but I firmly believe that, especially in our hierarchical system, the fish rots from the head down.
Yeah.
And this is something that Biden should have, in the very least, had some conversations about, especially considering how he's currently doing in regard to the African-American vote in this country. Many activists and organizers are incredibly frustrated with him and how he seems to have abandoned the efforts to pass a voting rights bill. And so when you put it in context, it really gives you a sense of how feckless and embarrassing the Biden administration has been in response to these crises that he, during his campaign, claimed to care so much about. This is awful. I mean, there's really no other way of putting it. And the intentions to essentially put these murderers in a more comfortable position as they're imprisoned, it just tells you everything you need to know about our two-tier justice system and the double standards that persist.
Absolutely. And before people start saying, well, Doc, Biden can't get involved directly in investigations, kind of untrue. The president of the United States has the ability to provide general guidance to the DOJ director. If the president wanted to say something like, I don't know, prosecute hate crimes to the fullest extent of the law, boom, put it in a memo, and that's what the DOJ director has to do. That's called general guidance, all right? The president has the ability, the right, and authority to do so.